Welcome. BitmonkeyTV. Back to BitmonkeyTV, episode 103. I still can't believe we made it through our first 100. Shout out to 2021. It was a tough year. It was a life-changing year. Best year of my life. I hope everybody can agree. I just realized that Pretzel Rocks is loud as fuck, isn't it? Let's turn that down. My bad. How's everyone doing today? What's up, Gary? Let's fucking go. So today we kick off part 2 of the mini-series titled No FOMO. And if you're just tuning in and you don't know what the fuck that means, it is fear of missing out. FOMO. No FOMO. And the reason of this mini-series is to really encourage everybody to develop their own process of elimination when buying into a project. And you notice how I said buying and not investing. I like to use that word very, I want to tread carefully around that word, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody knows if it's going to go up, down, left, right. Only play with what you can afford to lose. I cannot stress it enough. I know I did touch on the last episode to take ownership and really hold yourself accountable for any mistakes that you make, right? Because there's scammers out there and a ton of people are getting scammed. And what I love to see is people owning it and saying, hey, here's how I got scammed. I want to share this with the community, not to complain, but to let you know so that you can also prepare yourself better and not fall victim the same way I have. So shout out to everybody doing that. And shout out to everybody tuning in. Happy New Year. If this is your first time tuning in to BitmonkeyTV for the new year. So today we're going to get a little more personal. Yes, it is Non-Fungible Token Thursday. We will touch on some NFT projects. There's some things I'd like to share with you. I have a project that you might want to mint. Full transparency, I minted 3. Okay. But it might also help you combat that feeling of FOMO with all these high floor priced projects that have an insanely high entry point. I love free mints, and I'm going to show you my process of elimination. I don't just blindly mint a free mint. There's a few things I check, and I want to share that internal thought process with everybody here. But before we go too much further, yo, what's up, Jonathan? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hope you're doing well today. I hope you got your run in. I hope you got those 4 to 5 miles in today. Shout out David Goggins. Stay hard. Let's fucking go. I swear that voice is just stuck in my head. Cannot stop. Hey, I'm curious. We're going to do a little bit of a technical troubleshooting here. Y'all see a little bit of a delay? Is it glitchy or is that just on my end? I'd love to hear it because I'm seeing a little choppy feed coming back, but it may very well be good. It's good. So we're going to roll with it. I'm just going to have to stop looking at myself so much. So I really want to touch on this word, this lovely word that I feel like people have a misunderstanding with. They think that when you hear the word, maybe it's just, you know, some shit in the air that maybe somebody's smoking a little too much, or maybe you haven't done the work. I'm going down a little squirrel moment here. Abundance, right? I'm sure it's a 50-50 split depending on your past experiences in life. You might look at that word as, oh, that's one of those spiritual mumbo jumbo things that are being thrown around left and right. But it's something I really want to touch on because there are so many projects being released on a day-to-day basis. Ever since I really got back on, now it's glitchy. See, I jinxed it. So anybody watching the recording, bear with me. I'll fix it for the next episode. But I'm not about to restart this episode. I'm hoping, what else do I have open here? I closed everything. I've improved the Wi-Fi on the house, but clearly not enough. That's one thing I will admit. I am not hardwired on this one. I'm in a makeshift basement right now out in Portugal. So as you could imagine, yeah, I can see the Wi-Fi dimming down. Damn. Going to have to fix that for the next one. It's a bummer. So let's get back to it. Abundance. There are so many fucking projects being released left and right. Don't be so hard on yourself through this whole process. Let's say maybe your bags aren't that deep and you can't afford to buy in the way you'd like, right? Just understand that there's more to come. There's so much more to come. There's so much more opportunity to come. And if you operate off of that belief, it will happen. I know this sounds like maybe too good to be true, but there's always going to be a better project that's going to come along. Gary Vee says it best. 98% of these projects that you see being released will fail. And he may or may not be right about that number, but I personally think he's over exaggerating, right? Maybe not giving people the benefit of the doubt. That's not something I entirely agree with Gary Vaynerchuk on, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. I think it's more like a 90% split doesn't make it, which is still extreme, right? That's still a big fucking portions of all the projects. So I cannot stress it enough. If you're buying into a new NFT project, proceed with caution. Only buy in what you're willing to see go to zero. And on that note, don't forget, right? As long as you're happy with the art, it's not a complete waste of money, because then you got something you can rep. You got something that you're happy to be displayed in your wallet, right? So just my 2 cents. We'll dig a little bit deeper. I do want to touch on, we're going to squirrel, alpha. Gary, drop some alpha. Can we share the alpha that you dropped in the Discord today? I'd love to talk some NFTs briefly. And as we progress through the episode, I'm sure I'm going to squirrel away into some more thoughts about abundance, about operating with an abundant mindset in this space. I'm going to give an example. And this is not me fudding anybody. This is not me fudding any project. This is me looking at history, right? I'm not sure whether or not you agree, but it's my firm belief that history does repeat itself. Maybe not bit by bit, but it's on some granular level, right? And let's take Mechaverse, for example, right? What was that floor? Who was around when that one dropped? That thing was hyped up beyond belief, right? I'm not sure where the floor sits, but it jumped up damn near a 10 ETH floor. Before the end of the year, guess what it was? Less than 1 Ethereum. So that shit was hyped up beyond all belief, possibly with buyers thinking that there's not going to be another project like this, right? But I hate to be so aggressive with what I'm about to say, but there will always be another project. There will always be another floor like it. Will it maintain? Nobody knows, right? But it's just best. It provides peace of mind just knowing that, you know what, fuck all this. I'm not going to overextend myself into this project that just feels like it's far too beyond my reach. Doesn't mean you can't get there, but why not let the market decide its value, right? If you're not 100%, or maybe you're just following the advice of people in the space and you think it's the next big thing because somebody says it's the next big thing, but you haven't gone through your own process of elimination in determining that on your own, right? Having that self-confidence to operate in the space, I think, is very, very important. Not relying on others for your advice on whether to buy, whether to sell, whether to hold. You should have that strategy, in my opinion, already mapped out as roughly as possible in your head so that you can operate with a little bit of discipline. Yeah, mechas were crazy. Let's jump back. Yeah, so it's back to 1. And we saw that with a lot of projects at the end of the year, right? I'm not going to get into that topic of tax discussions, right? But there's a lot of people worried and a lot of people making certain transactions that made it look like they took a complete loss to a random wallet when you know damn right that was their wallet. I mean, time will tell what'll happen there, but that caused a lot of floors to tank. A lot of people trying to liquidate. And in other news, did y'all hear about, I hate to instill FOMO, but the Adidas X Prada collaboration of some sort. I haven't dug into it too much, but I immediately saw the floor of these tokens from the Adidas / Punks comic drop rise from a 0.7 to a 1.1, like that. And I'm like, what is going on? I hadn't heard anything yet. And I was just patiently waiting, and I saw a tweet, and I haven't gone into it too much, but we're going to dig into some NFT projects right now. But to help combat the FOMO, let's first look at one project that's very, very interesting. To my knowledge, it's the first of its kind. It reminds me of, what was that game? Help me remember here. Blank screen, kind of looked like you're floating in space, and it had those bars. Was it Pong? Where there's the ball, right? And you had your side and you had to move. You just control this little thing that bounces it back and forth, right? I'm going to pull up something on the screen here while the audience helps me out real quick. I think it's Pong. Oh, I teased one a little too soon. Yep, Pong it is. I don't know. This thing's got some Pongy vibes to it. Don't you think? I love free mints when they innovate, right? A free mint for the sake of being a free mint, if you're copying another project's idea, I would personally stay away from it, right? But when they're innovating, fuck, why not interact? Why not participate? I mean, at the end of the day, it's only going to cost you a gas fee to mint these, right? Because they're not technically free. They're free from the contract. You pay zero for it, but you still have to pay for that transaction, right? So I want to share with you my process of elimination, right? At first, I heard about this. I didn't mint. I didn't mint blindly. And if I would have, it would have been through another wallet that I don't care about, right? Just a throwaway dummy hot spare wallet, which we've talked about here, right? And I'd love to hear if you guys want to hear or see a step-by-step tutorial on how to create a hot spare. We have some content from last year. I'd be happy to redo another episode and focus on that. Heck, maybe the next mini series can be about hot spare wallets versus cold spare or cold storage wallets. How I define them, how the market defines them, the pros and cons of hardware wallets. I know we never finished the write-up for Ledger versus Trezor, but I'd love to hear it. I want to play it off the audience, but without squirrel ado, let me finish the topic at hand. So when you're looking at a free mint, chances are, if you're aware of free mints, you have some NFTs, you have a wallet set up. So I'm going to, ignore all of that talk to preface, right? What I love to see, where was it? Oh, did they take it out? Hold up. Before we look at roadmap or anything, let's go take a look at Mint here. Okay, they do have an OpenSea link. I love it when when any given website, any given project, not only do they give you an official OpenSea link, but they give you the contract address as well. Now, since this thing has already started minting, you can just go and you're about to learn a little trick on how to view whether or not a contract is verified on etherscan.io. This is usually my first go-to, right? Aside from, all right, free mint, are they innovating? Yes or no? Yes. All right, I'm intrigued. Step two, can I trust the code? Can I trust the contract to interact with my primary wallet or the wallet that I use the most, right? I'm going to show you my process of how I determine that. So you go here, click on any given NFT. And if you scroll down here, down to the details tab, you'll see this contract address with a hyperlink. It's not going to show the whole contract address. However, you can click that hyperlink. It'll take you to Etherscan. So you can view that contract. You want to go down to the tracker right here. Now, if you're viewing this on mobile, understand this is going to be top to bottom. You're not going to be able to look left to right. You go down two modules, right? You'll see this contract overview with the white background, and then you'll see more info with this white background, right? Click that tracker ID. Oh, I'm sorry. I was giving you another. So they've minted through 1400. This is how I track token IDs. Like, let's say I'm trying to go and mint 1337 because it is a elite number. You know what I mean? I would go in here to the tracker ID and view it, but we were actually right where we needed to be. So after clicking that contract address, you do go down to the third module and you'll see a bunch of these tabs here. And as you could guess, what we want to do is go to the contract. Is the source code verified? It is. Now, I don't know the exact process on this, but I'm pretty sure you have to reach out. I'm not sure if you have to pay Etherscan. I'm sure that'll speed up the process. But on any given reputable drop, you will always notice that the contract is always verified. Never isn't, right? It's never not. Both of those sentences I just said just didn't make sense. Oh, and I'm going to squirrel here. If you're watching this on Twitter and you want to chat, ask questions, any of that, come join us on BitmonkeyTV in your browser. That'll take you to Twitch. Most everybody kicks it on Twitch. But I also see the YouTube comments. So if you prefer YouTube, go ahead and pop in there. That way we can answer your questions. Because otherwise on Twitter, I know we're streaming live, but I don't get to see who's there. I don't get to see who's interacting. So if you do have any questions at all, I recommend hopping on over. But over here, we can see the contract is verified. So that's a quick look. And then my third thing is, all right, who's minting it? Are there any reputable names in the space? Now, you really only learn this as you interact, as you learn, as you do your 50 hours of homework, so to speak. I personally think it should be bumped up to 50 days of homework. You know, I know there's a lot of opportunity that comes and goes, but let's say you have an abundant mindset, right? And you want to learn as much as possible. And it's your belief that this technology is just getting started. If all of those are true, and that's what you believe, then you should have no FOMO at all. No rushing into any given project, right? Do your 50 days of research. Take that 2 months at least and just look, learn, interact, join Discords, right? I really, really love this project just because it's something that's new. It's a game that you can interact with. The idea is you enter in your token ID and you prey on another circle token ID. You have to look at a few variables, but if you go down here to properties, generally you want a higher shield time and then a lower sleep time, right? And then you want to go check out levels. You go view your circle NFT. Like if you are going to go mint this, I'm just going to give you a little quick tip on how to find somebody to prey on, right? I would just go to the OpenSea collection. You scroll down here to the left, hit size. Like let's say you know your size is 133. You don't want to try to attack something that's bigger than you because chances are it's not going to succeed, right? So I would go 120 max on a size. And then you get everything within that range that you defined within the filters here on OpenSea. And then I just start saving numbers. I'm not exactly sure how this game works through and throughout. However, I think it's interesting. And like I said, I love it when people innovate and then give that free. We're going to touch on another project that did something very, very similar, but it's not a game, at least not yet, right? Ah, good point. Let me run it back. I wasn't even looking all the way there. So Dream Joker, shout out Gary. He's pointing out something very good. Even if the contract is verified, you might see this yellow exclamation mark, kind of like a caution off to the right. We're going to click it. And it lets you know the compiler specific warnings. If you've operated within Eclipse, which is like a contract builder, through ethereum.org, you'll notice that when you're debugging or when you're messing around with new lines of code, you're going to get a lot of errors out the gate, or at least I did. Shout out to Gary. Do you want me to click the signed immutables? Do you think I should show this? I love that it specifies, it essentially analyzes what part and summarizes it for us, right? What part is giving us that flag, so to speak. So Gary, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you mint this project with that yellow exclamation, but knowing that the contract is verified? Yeah, that could be a topic for another day. Hey, Miss Manda Art. No worries. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. And if you guys aren't already, guys and girls, Miss Manda Art runs a live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. I highly recommend you tune in. It's on IG Live. Her tag is at Miss Manda Art, just like you see on the screen. I no longer attend them because I think 7 p.m. is like 6 a.m. for me or 4 a.m. for me. And I'm up late, usually just interacting with the states to the point where I'm in bed by 2 a.m. over here. It's a new sleep routine. So I haven't been able to watch them, but I do miss tuning into your live streams. So shout out to Miss Manda Art. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I miss you too. Yes, I would, but I did not for other reasons. Got it. Got it. No, and I totally understand, right? Other reasons could be you're saving that gas expense for something else. Gas has been high. We're going to talk on another word, degen. Sometimes you're just an all-out degen and you don't give a fuck about the gas fee. And it's okay. Degen is degenerate. It's a word that's thrown around in a fun manner in this space. Yeah, no FOMO. See, that's good shit right there. No FOMO. He is not having the fear of missing out. I love it. I love it. And I'll even share. So Gary's been dropping alpha left and right in our Discord. And there's something going on with something called a lit token. A lit token, a Robert De Niro generative project. The NFT, his face evolves based off of a number of different variables, different moods and emotions, so to speak. He was giving me all the alpha, but I have a very disciplined mindset right now of what I'm minting in the near future and what I'm willing to spend on X, Y, and Z. And I had to talk myself down in a chat. And I said, you know, I'm already far past that train. I'm just going to let that one go. We did talk on balance, right? So we're going to pivot a little bit. You know, operating in this space is all about balance. Like earlier today, I realized I was behind this computer screen way too much recently. So I had to go take a walk before the sun went down. And the sun hasn't been out too often over here. So sometimes it's good to take a step back, practice balance, step away from all this information, from all the hype, and just say, fuck it. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to clear my head, and I'm going to come back and not focus on whatever I was fearing of missing out, so to speak. Yeah, so degen is degenerate, right? And you'll notice in a lot of communities, it's like, oh, we're total degens, right? And in my opinion, degen can also be defined as somebody who is ahead of time, somebody who is ahead of their time, right? Because if you're operating in this space at this current point in time, realize how early you are. I know we touched on this in the last episode, but we are also fucking early. And right now, the word degen might be thrown out in a casual, fun way. I'm sure that'll shift and mature and evolve a little bit over time. What's good, Scotty? Thanks for tuning in. Sorry about the glitches. Everybody, sorry about the glitches today. I need to fix this for next week. This didn't happen on Tuesday. Wi-Fi seems to be good, but I'm thinking the solution is just to get a 100-foot Cat6 cabling and just route it to the main router. Let's play off the comments here a little bit. Yeah, right. I love this. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's talk about this because a lot of people have been getting burnt and wrecked. Wrecked is another term. Wrecked is like burnt. You got annihilated. Maybe you got left holding the bag, so to speak, right? But Gary keeps just screaming at the top of his lungs. I feel like 3/4 of his posts since he started collecting NFTs have been, do not buy what I am buying, right? Do not buy what I'm buying because I am buying things for different reasons. And I cannot press on that topic anymore because we see it happen with every project he buys into. People don't listen. The floor, we have what's called a Gary V dip. It'll go up and it'll do this upside down V. And sometimes it'll plateau and correct itself. There are a few times where it'll keep going, but you don't have to follow every project he buys. You don't have to follow every project he tweets. There's always going to be another project, especially with how early we are in the space. Wait until your favorite brand adopts the technology, and maybe that's the one you wanted to mint. Maybe because you're a loyal customer, they found a way to give you what's called whitelist or pre-sale access. I have a feeling some of the most thoughtful brands are going to find a way to do this. That's just a feeling. It's not fact. I'm spitballing here. I could be wrong. But nevertheless, it's always good to practice no FOMO, especially when somebody such as Gary Vee. Now, here's another few factors you gotta think about with Gary Vee. There are so many people watching his wallet now, and he's playing with money that he can afford to lose. And I have a feeling a lot of us in this space, as much as we say we don't care if it goes to zero, it's gonna hurt. It will hurt. So only extend yourself so far to where if that bag goes to zero, if that primary wallet you're operating on goes to zero, that you'll still sleep okay, right? Maybe not for a night or two, but you're going to be okay because you didn't overextend yourself. So I hope everybody's in that position. And if you're not, I hope that you accomplish what you set out to accomplish so that you can liquidate a little bit so that everything else is bonus, right? Yeah, without squirrel ado. Where was I going with that last one? Let's talk about on-chain monkeys. I want to show you something that started off as a free mint. I missed the free mint. I remember buying into the hype, and the hype was less than a 0.1 at its time. On-chain monkey. On-chain monkey. Shout out to on-chain monkey. I'm going to say it right here. Now, don't quote me. Actually, you can quote me. Do whatever you want. Let me full screen this. Give me 1 second. Again, I'm feeling like my parents. Like, where did my mouse go? That's hilarious. I personally think that on-chain monkey will outperform Bored Ape Yacht Club in the long term. You heard it here first. That's not me fudding Bored Ape Yacht Club at all. Not at all. I think it's a great project, great art, great community, right? One can argue the community is what really drove it to where it is today. But it's my belief that on-chain monkey will outperform in the long term. Do with that what you will. As always, what you hear here is not financial advice, right? Do your own research. Do not take everything I say and follow it religiously. Do not follow me blindly. Listen, analyze, make a decision for yourself. Whether you believe with me or not, whether you say I'm full of shit, whether you agree with me, I don't care. It's my belief. And I look at things other than the project, other than volume, other than celebrities buying into it. I like seeing a project with organic growth. And not many people know on-chain monkeys, I'm going to bring it back, started off as a free mint. Now look at what they're doing. This is all just teasers, right? But I didn't realize. So the reason I wanted to bring up this project is during the last episode, I damn near FOMO'd into trading some book games tokens into an on-chain monkey, right? And I'm probably going to tempt myself again during this episode. But one thing I didn't see was the revamped website. Why? Because I hadn't been following this community. I had disconnected. I was just getting back into the swing of things. And I was focused on Twitter, but primarily BitMonkey Studio, then Twitter, right? Then a little bit of IG. And now I'm starting to be more active in all three. And now I'm starting to dip my toes back into certain communities that I believe in, right? And actually become active again, rather than be a ghost, so to speak. I had no fucking clue they were up to this. So right here, I think it's by the end of the month, they're launching another project. Look at these fucking monkeys, right? So apparently if you own a Genesis on-chain monkey, which are these, right? I know, I understand. They don't all look good. But that wasn't the point of the project. The point of the project was to launch an NFT project in a single transaction, all on chain, all through the most elegant looking code I've ever seen in my life. And I don't even understand it line by line. But I did briefly scan through it for a couple hours because I was curious. And I had just started learning Eclipse, which is a web-based platform that you can develop your own Solidity contracts on top of and push them to the test net just to see if they work. And I'm just amazed with the innovation, the free mint, and the fact that now through that free mint, through the support of the community, through the belief of the founder of this project, not only are they giving back to the world, they have already been responsible for building a school or multiple schools in the Philippines. I'm paraphrasing here. I believe I'm correct on that front. Like I said, I don't script things here. I don't write things down line by line on what I'm going to talk about. I'd rather go with the flow. So I hope everybody's enjoying. Nevertheless, what they're doing now and what this project has evolved into, they're focused on giving back. I like projects like that. I love them so much. And if you know me, you know that I love to give back more than I receive. I haven't always been that way. Hell no, I have not always been that way. And the childhood friends watching this and the recordings would laugh at the thought of that. But people change. You know what I mean? People evolve. People get better. And better is defined however you like to define it, right? There's no right or wrong way to do things. We can all live our lives the way we'd like to live our lives, right? Don't worry so much about the opinions of others. Do you. Just make sure that you're happy with what you're doing. That's all I can preach. That's all I can ever preach. Just make sure you're happy day in and day out with what you're doing. And then fuck all the noise. Today we got a bit of a no filter here. I want to play back to the comments real quick. Right? This one is pretty cool. I know I just went off on a little squirrel rant, but this is BitmonkeyTV after all, right? They kind of look a little haunted. So, yeah. Dude, look at that number. Look at that number, 27.27. Shit, rise. Let's go. So, are you talking about these kind of look a little haunted? They kind of do, don't they? Especially the crazy eyes. I got a crazy eyes one. It's probably going to come out looking, I don't know. This art, I love this art a lot. I thought this was a teaser for something else. Apparently, if you own a Genesis Mint, you get that paired version of this Karma release, but then they're also doing a 10K drop for the public sale. So there's going to be a total of 20,000 of these karmic monkeys. Don't quote me on that. I think they're called Karma, not karmic. Yeah, OCM Karma. But it just sounded better as I was talking. What they're also doing with letting this be governed by token owners, also letting you earn bananas, which is going to be their token. It's going to be in this monkeyverse, so to speak. And they also talk about really, really focused on empowering the community and token owners, right? With the, before I say the wrong thing here, I'm just going to go to community projects. We're building together. So you join the monkeyverse to be a part of community of crypto OGs and become a future crypto OG yourself. The core team and community members have boundless energy, passion, expertise, and a network to build amazing products that will truly change the world. And here's where exactly community projects come in. Community members with the passion, knowledge, and creativity have the opportunity to build new projects and businesses. This community is stacked with crypto experts, entrepreneurs, engineers, designers, investors with unlimited access to capital. Members can turn amazing ideas into reality. Monkeys at any stage of their journey can join us in this awesome adventure. This is a strength in community and numbers. Monkey help monkey. Monkey see, I'm squirreling. Monkey see, monkey do. Reach out if you have any specific questions or ideas at hello@metagood.com. So here's what they're doing. They're utilizing, instead of pocketing all of this money they're making from secondary sales, they're using it to build a brand and, more importantly, build a community that helps one another. And they're doing so in a way that I haven't seen any other community do yet. And if they have, forgive me. I'd love to hear about your project. Drop a note in the comments. Or if you're watching this live and you know of another project who has successfully already done this and is further along than On-Chain Monkey, please drop a note. I'd love to hear it. I know Impact Theory Founders Key is one of those projects that is on the same track, but it's two different beasts, two completely different beasts. So do not compare the two, right? The right to partner from Tom's legendary tier access, I wouldn't compare it to this at all, right? But I love to see this. I love to see focus on giving back, focus on empowering token owners and giving them the tools they need to succeed. whatever that means, whatever perspective, right? Whether that's finance, whether that's knowledge, whether that's devs, whether that's community managers. It's just really special to see. And full transparency, here I am pumping the shit out of this project. I'm going to acquire some more, and I'm hoping I do so in good enough time before OCM Karma launches. So proceed with caution. But what we're looking at here is this was a free mint. This was a free mint based off of an innovative idea. So if you're an engineer and you've developed something so fucking unique, you know, no other project has released code like yours, release it for free, release it for the public. Let the market decide its value, right? Do it for the people, and you'll be rewarded in the long term if it is truly game changing. So I can't press it enough. You know, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of flippers in the community. There's probably a lot of flippers watching this right now. I'm not hating. I love them all. I'm just saying I'm at a point where I want to do less flipping and more long-term hodling. I kind of come and go with my approach. Whatever I give myself time for really is what I focus on. And right now I'm focused on solely BitMonkey Studio and everything BitMonkey related. And as you can tell, monkeys really. So I do intend on taking advantage of this in some way, shape, or form. No doubt. No doubt. And not taking advantage. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, no, taking advantage. It's an opportunity that should you own a token, you have an advantage compared to the rest of people who don't own a token. You do have that competitive edge. You do have an advantage. So take advantage of it. And don't look at it like you're taking advantage of a resource or people. No, you're taking advantage of you being so fucking early, making the right call and buying the right token. Utilize that and let it empower you. Yeah. I feel like we got a little off topic here. So, any questions related to the FOMO? I'd love to hear it. Fear of missing out. What does fear of missing out mean to you? Oh, this is a good one. I'd love to hear everybody watching. If you could just share, what does FOMO mean to you? Maybe you want to share a story of one time you FOMO'd into a project. I'd love to hear whether or not it was a successful FOMO or an unsuccessful FOMO. Now, you know what I mean here. Did that project get rugged? Did you get left holding the bag? Did you sell for a loss? Or did it actually succeed? I'd love to hear it if you're willing to share. And the reason is so that we can share this story, share your experience, share your lessons, and hopefully help somebody make the right decision before they, succumb to FOMO. And for anybody just tuning in, so this episode started off with an emphasis on how to combat FOMO with an abundant mindset. And I want to press on this again because there's always going to be another project. Always. Like, we haven't even seen a fraction. I don't even think we've seen 1/100th of all the projects that are going to be released over the next decade. Put that into perspective for a second. There's still going to be 100 times the number of projects that have just been released in this past year and a half. And if you want to backtrack all the way to 2017, 2016, 2015, for that matter, we are just getting started. So do not worry if you didn't get on that whitelist. Don't be bummed out. Don't let it affect your day. Don't go get shit-faced. You know what I mean? Because you didn't make it. Learn how to develop your own process of elimination. If that's one thing I can share with everybody here that I hope everybody picks up on, is strengthening that self-confidence that you made the right decision, whether you jumped in or you didn't, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody's in your shoes. Nobody has control over your wallet like you do, right? So do what you do. Learn from your mistakes, though. And please, do not open any links in the DMs, period. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. right? You're going to see a lot of people DMing you if you're new in the space. Don't fucking answer, period. Like, that's just what I do now, unless they're have a mutual friend of somebody, or unless somebody told me this person's reaching out in DMs. I mean, I just don't respond to DMs I don't know. And I even I'm guilty. I actually deprioritize looking at DMs now because of how scammy they are. So forgive me to anybody that I DM with on a frequent basis or a somewhat sub-frequent basis. I know sometimes there's a delay in communication, but that's because I practice not ignore the DMs, but don't prioritize them, because you never know. There's always those fucking DMs that pile up there. It's fucking craziness. Yeah. Let's go back to it. I think I missed a few comments here. Respect, integrity, sustainability, experimentation. I love that. Yeah. So that's the founder. I think that's one of those pieces of art after the founder, because he's always wearing a cowboy hat. I had the pleasure of watching him speak at NFT NYC. And at that moment, that's when I realized, holy shit, this project's being, it's flown under the radar. And when you look at the unique owners as well, damn right it's been flown under the radar. I mean, let's just do a quick little search. $3K unique owners, 9.5K items, only 5,500 Ethereum in the secondary sales, and they've already gone from a free mint to what's coming. Like, that's just amazing to me. That's just amazing to me. There's other projects out there who have more unique owners per its supply, who have more volume traded, who have a higher floor price. But are they doing as much good in the world? And like I said, this is not to FUD any projects, but what I'm trying to recommend or share or suggest is figure out the ones that you vibe with most, the ones that you have conviction in, and just go all in. Do you, don't just follow the crowd, because chances are the crowd is just someone's going to get left holding the bag. And we see it time in and time out with a lot of these hyped up drops. And I know a few people in here are a part of Hate Beasts. Congratulations. I'm stoked for you guys. But I'm also concerned. So make sure you proceed with caution too. And have no FOMO. Have no FOMO of profit. Have no FOMO of Hate Beasts. Right? So today, and this is personal. So I hope everybody's enjoyed me spitballing here. But I feel like it's necessary topics to talk about, because I will be honest, I don't consume as much NFT news or NFT show content. Like, I don't want to say competitors, but other people running shows like I am here, like a live stream, providing information, providing tips and tricks and advice. I don't do too much competitive analysis, because I'm not here to profit off the viewers. I'm not here to profit off you. I'm here to jam and share. I never thought about profiting off this show from a financial standpoint. That was never at the top of my mind, and it still isn't. I don't care. I have no incentive to advertise or to create something that's trending just to get more engagement, right? I just want to share my 2 cents with you, and help answer as many questions as possible, and help provide the best possible value that I can provide to each unique person, because what each person defines as valuable is different, right? One person may be more interested in looking at OpenSea and how to operate on that platform, right? Maybe another person's more interested in how to improve their morning routine and tie that in with NFTs. Maybe another person's, you see my point here? Everybody's got different interests and reasons for being here. So I want to thank you first and foremost. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're having fun over here. I hope you are too. That's what's most important. I love it. Let me see if I missed on anything. I didn't. really write anything out per se. Oh yeah, thanks, Gary. I was just checking the Discord DMs because we have people behind the scenes helping me out. Shout out to Gary. Shout out to Luke. I don't think Luke's watching this one live. And shout out to Scotty B. Shout out to everybody who helps, everybody who interacts, everybody who's here. But shout out to the team. They have just been so helpful. I'm so grateful to have them aboard. I'm so grateful to have such a committed group of individuals to learning about this technology and having fun and not being too hard on ourselves. You know what I mean? Because we're all going to make mistakes in life and in this space, more importantly. So just don't be too hard on yourself. If you succumb to the FOMO, it's okay. You want to wear it as a badge of honor, go ahead and do that. You want to make a post about it, go ahead and do that. The one thing I would recommend, try to stay away, is let's say you succumb to the FOMO. Or let's say you get scammed, either or. And instead of sharing how you would fix that next time or how you would prevent that next time, and you start projecting negative, toxic words towards one another, take a step back. Understand that what you're projecting, it's going to come back at you tenfold, right? Whereas if you take it as, fuck, all right, lesson learned. Let me share with my audience, whether it's large or small, whatever, the lessons I learned, the mistake that I think I made, and how I would fix it next time. So what you're doing instead of spreading a negative, toxic comment is you're educating others through your mistakes, and you have no shame about it. I promise you, it's going to help you out a ton in this space because we're all going to make a ton of mistakes. I'll call myself out right now. I made a lot of mistakes buying into certain projects because they looked cool, right? And yes, I did have some flipper mentality early on. And you can go check out my wallet. I don't hide shit. OpenSea hides shit for me when it gets airdropped to me. And I recently went to go look in there, and there's actually legitimate things that got hidden. So now I need to eventually plan a day to go in there and not hide them. But there's a reason I don't hide things, right? Because I would rather wear my mistakes, you know, just right there for you to see. I would rather spotlight them so that other people don't make that same mistake. You're going to see, damn, what's this project that he's got so much of that's just sitting here? Oh, let me go look at the floor. Let me go look at the activity. Oh, this project's dead. Oh, damn, he got rugged. Ah, damn, that project just didn't really take off. Ah, shit. You get to learn, right? Whereas if I hide that NFT, you don't get to learn from that mistake if you're doing that type of forensics, so to speak, if you're looking into other people's wallets, right? Which I highly recommend people do. But going back to what we were talking about with Gary Vee, do not just go blindly follow a mint. I did that. So let me, if I can share something with everybody here. I don't think I've shared this one on live. I'm guilty for that. I remember early on when the Gary effect on projects, it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Let me try to ride one of these trains. There was one called the Mad Lads. The art looked like shit. Immediately, I'm like, damn, Gary, why did you mint this? I'm like, okay. And I didn't go dig too much, right? As far as the contract, like I do now. This was early on in the space. And I minted 3. Minted 3, 0.07. So I spent 0.21 plus gas, whatever, quarter ETH. Gone. Project rugged. Gary Vee never fucking minted the project. He never minted the project. Now, at that time, I was working on another project, and the incentive that they had for this project to mint was you get into this raffle to win this. I don't know if it was a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape. And this was not me with FOMOing out of the apes. This was me looking at what Gary was doing, knowing the Gary Vee effect. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep one to see how they handle the raffle, right? And then I'll flip the other 2 as these things climb. None of that ever happened, right? And I remember beating myself up over it for like 12 hours until I woke up the next day and I'm like, all right, rinse and repeat. Got to move forward. Can't cry over it, right? It's quarter ETH. I think it's all the ETH I had in my wallet at that moment in time, right? But as you know, with us degens in the space, we find ways to get more ETH. Dropping that word degen again. Sharing is caring. I hope I didn't get too off topic there. I did feel like it was important to share one of my mishaps and one of my mistakes for following Gary Vee blindly, right? Because if you go and check his OpenSea activity feed, you'll see he's minting projects every fucking minute. That's really not him. That's the project tricking you into thinking he's minting it, but he's really not minting. He's really not interacting with that contract. Those are being sent to him, and the gas fee is being paid for by another address, making it look like he minted it, right? So always proceed with caution. Never trust what OpenSea tells you. And Gary said it spot on with the timer, with the meter of checking the floor. It's not always accurate, especially when a project's flying off the shelves. So, yep. So I love this. Great topic. So there is a new Budweiser drop happening. Whether you may or may not know, Gary Vee, VaynerMedia, they advertise for Budweiser, right? I believe they're the primary advertisers for Budweiser. I'm not sure whether it's the full service or what have you, but they very much have a very close relationship. So Budweiser has a drop coming, and I believe they did mention that if you own a VeeFriends, you get pre-sale access, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Gary. I can also spotlight the project. Give me a second here. So it's beer.eth. If you're reading this, you need a beer. It's funny. Oh, so hey, if y'all want to hear about their drop, set this reminder. Let's go ahead and go full screen on this. Hear more about the Budweiser drop. Let me unpin this. So I think that, is that Pacific time? I think so. Yeah, because this laptop's still on Pacific time. So it looks like that's 10:30 a.m. on January 21st. It's tomorrow. I got to set my calendar. I do want to listen and see what this is about. But this is another one. So this is such a massive brand, and this is just the first of many to come into the space. It's the first of many. There's going to be more. There's going to be way more. Now, I think we've talked a lot about no FOMO, and I want to share some projects that I've personally been looking at. And because this is Non-Fungible Token Thursday, it's the new rebranded Friday. So we no longer stream on Fridays. It's just Tuesday and Thursday every week, keeping it simple, so we can continue working on some breakthrough stuff on our end that we're getting excited to announce. So first one, as always, not financial advice, DYOR. But here's what really gets me excited. I know Gary Vee says, I don't give a fuck about the roadmap. I want to see how they execute. I get that. But I like innovative games on the blockchain. And when this is the first of its kind, in my opinion, it's worth the 3 free mints. So I think we touched on the gameplay a little bit early on. If you're interested in this project, now full transparency, this is not me trying to pump my bags, right? This is just me trying to share a free mint, and shout out to Scotty B for making me aware of this. Didn't mean to dox you there, but I gotta give credit where it's due. You dig? And you can mint up to 3 per wallet. I think I paid a 0.05 for my transaction, but before I went to bed last night, I set my quantity to 3, connected my wallet, set my quantity to 3, hit mint. I adjusted my gas down to 55. I think at the time it was 120. So it was going to cost me like a 0.12 to mint 3. Whereas I set gas to 55 because I was looking at the average historical gas for the past week, just looking at the average per day, and it generally hit a low of 50. So that's what I did. Now, if you're doing this, if you're following this advice, please only do this at the end of your day if you don't plan on sending any other NFTs or wanting to transact on the blockchain, because it will hold up your wallet, right? It'll be that transaction that is going to be ahead of any other transaction you try to submit. So you'll have to speed it up in order to get the other ones to go through. If you do something like this, if you try to guesstimate what gas is going to be while you're asleep, understand your wallet's out of commission for until that transaction goes through, essentially, especially if you're trying to get in on a drop. Another one I'm very excited about. I started playing it, full transparency. I'm beta testing it. I don't own any yet because it hasn't been dropped yet, but let me find a link for you. Oh, where'd Discord go? I'm guessing nobody wanted to share any stories about the FOMO, and I completely understand. It's cool. I got some more for you, but I have a feeling this mini series is going to go another episode or two, so I'll share that for next week. Oh yeah, that's related to the Budweiser, right? So I want to shout out another game which, to my knowledge, is one of the first of its kind in the sense that, just pulling up a link for you guys and girls here. There we go. Oh, it is .io. And that's Cozy Reef. They are getting a working game before launch, whereas most NFT projects will come to market with an idea, with a roadmap, we'll have the beta ready in this quarter of this year, right? They have a working game already, and I'm proud to say I was a part of a beta test, I think earlier this week, right? I woke up at 4 a.m. for this one, 4 fucking a.m. for this one. And it couldn't even play. It crashed. There was so much attention, so many people who came. I mean, we did our job as beta testers, right? We all came together trying to break it, testing the game, and it wouldn't even fucking load. It wouldn't handle the number of users in the game. So I know that they've been stress testing that, but this is kind of like developing your own process of elimination. This project already stands out to me personally because they're taking the time to develop a game before they launch their collection, which I think is brilliant, which shows that they're about their business, which shows that they're actually going to do everything in their power to accomplish everything on their roadmap when they've already started accomplishing things on their roadmap before launch. I mean, that's rare. So I'm not saying jump into this one blindly. I'm not saying go mint 3 or 7 that you're going to make millions and billions of dollars. All right. Not financial advice, do your own research. But what I would highly recommend is hop in their Discord and go interact. Go hop in the beta testing. I think they're launching sometime in February, but you get to go get an idea for the gameplay, for the community. I just wanted to shout out the alpha drop. I got this one from Scotty. I'm enjoying the game, and it's also way more enjoyable when you got friends in there too. So the more people you onboard into unique projects like this and you help build that community with some people that you know in real life, it amplifies that energy 10x, 7x, 8x, whatever number you want to use. So I highly recommend find your circle and find a circle that is going to uplift you. Once again, I feel like my father here. Where'd my mouse go? Hey, what's up, Slim? Thanks for tuning in, man. Sorry for the choppiness. I'm well aware of it. I'm not sure if it's still going on. I can tell just by my hand moving around. It's not too good. I'll fix that for next week. I promise. No, never. I never say no FOMO, no aping, right? I love what Gary's saying here because Gary right here is practicing so much discipline. He is so disciplined for what he wants to buy. I'm so proud of the no FOMO, Gary. Yeah, I'm proud. Very, very proud. Let's go. Hey. Yeah, so you're catching us on the tail end here, Slim. I would love to ask, if you don't mind sharing, What's one moment of FOMO that you've had since you've entered the space? Did it pay off or did it not? Would love to hear it. Just to share it, not to dox you or out you in any way, but to share it as an example for others so that they can make a decision for themselves. Should they find themselves in a similar position? I think it'd be very beneficial. Now, I understand if you don't want to share anything, I'm going to come up with another one. So FOMO never pays off. FOMO never pays off. I'm going to put an asterisk on this, man. I'm going to put an asterisk on this. It sometimes does. Very rarely, but it sometimes does. Hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But it sometimes does. And that's not me telling you to FOMO into all the projects. Let's see. Made some bad calls because I was in a state of FOMO. Now, was it FOMO on the project or FOMO on the profit? Because that's a good comparison, good talking points right there. FOMO of minting and buying into a project and the provenance of owning the token, right? That social status, the culture, so to speak, or FOMO of Ethereum. Maybe you sold too soon, right? Because you were fearing that it was just going to tank. I'd love to hear that. But that is a great talking point to kick off next week on Tuesday. Ooh, because we're already coming up on an hour here. And I feel like an hour was a good length of time. But if the chat keeps rolling, I'm going to keep the episode on rolling. Missed some good drops, then went a little crazy, made some bad decisions. It happens. It's FOMO that you didn't do something. Yeah. Recognizing FOMO as an emotion and not letting those emotions override your rationale. It's good to be excited. I love this. So if everyone remembers, we talked about waves of emotion, right? When you're going through that initial FOMO cycle, right? That fear of missing out cycle in your head, there's just the craziest waves of emotion. It's best to always make a decision after the waves come and go. Once that, that water settles a little bit. Maybe it can be a little misty, but make sure that there's not a whole bunch of big ass tsunamis coming after you right after that. So then you do something else just because. Yep. I love it. And I hope I was spot on. Hope I didn't squirrel too much there. Today was very, very personal. You can call it philosophical. You can call it spiritual. You can call it whatever you'd like, but I want to go back to the topic that started this episode. Please understand that there's an abundance of NFT projects now that have been launched and that will be launched. So do not worry if you missed out on one today, on one tomorrow. Let's say you're not on the whitelist for some hyped up project that's got hundreds of thousands of followers and interest already. Don't worry. There's always going to be another. And if you operate off that belief, you'll have more peace of mind. You'll operate in a more calm, cool, collective manner when you're approaching a project and going through your process of elimination that hopefully we are helping you finely tune or fine tune rather. FOMOing about selling some stuff now and try to take advantage of the VFriends floor, but need to work out all the kinks and make sure it works first, trying not to be hasty. I think I know what you're talking about. And I got you, man. I feel it. I do. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So we're well aware that, so I want to share some facts with everybody. Gary and the team has announced that I believe on January 28th, so 8 days from now, they will be announcing the next batch of speakers. I'm not sure if there's anything more involved in the announcement related to VCon, or maybe the announcement related to spectaculars or cores or all the different ebbs and flows of what they're planning. But usually with some announcement comes some sales, right? So don't worry about making a quick decision on that fear of missing out, right? Take a calculated approach because you have 8 days. And that's me being optimistic. You have 8 days to make that decision. Rather, cut it a day prior. You have 7 days to make that decision. And I would love to give my 2 cents, but I do not want to overstep boundaries. So what we can do though, we can jam in the Discord all day. I'm going to be doing some post content, clipping after this stream. So feel free to hop in the Discord if you guys aren't already. As always, I'm going to pin it right here. Bam. Right there. Discord. BitMonkey.gg/Discord. See how I did the little cursive thing with my... I love it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for the input. And to go back to what we started off, just please, please, please understand that there is an abundance of NFT projects right now. There's actually too many, in my opinion. It's good and bad for the space. Tread carefully. Buy carefully, right? Only buy what you're willing to lose. Only buy what you're willing to look cool in your wallet and have go to a 0 Ethereum floor. Bet in people. Oh, I'm going to get a lot of pushback for this one. Bet in people, not art. Bet in the people. Bet in the people behind the project. Bet in the artist. Cool art can make it, don't get me wrong, but if it's just cool art with a greedy person behind it, where's that going to go, right? Maybe they can change. Maybe they could think on how to help the community and token owners who purchase their really cool looking art. But you just never know. That's why it's always good to do a deep dive behind the people behind a project. Are they doxxed? Do you know who they are? And if they're not doxxed, do they have experience with other projects? Do they have a good reputation? Do they come from a good place? Can you sense that? Can you not? Ask your circle, ask your communities, ask other Discords that you're in. Come hop in the BitMonkey Discord and ask us. We will give you our honest, unbiased opinion on anything. And as always, I'm going to just fucking bold this right here. NFA, DYOR. Everything you hear here is not financial advice. You always do your own research with any given project. Please, 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 please. I would hate to see people lose out on money because of something they heard here and took it very, very seriously. I am trying to provide all the possible tools that you need to succeed in this space. But one of the tools that you can work on that I can't give you is common sense, right? Strengthen that common sense. If it works out, I'll definitely jump on it, send you what I've got. Be happy to get your input. Hey, man, we'd be happy to help. Yep, this is a good one. So we'll close out the episode on this. So there's a ton of people getting scammed right now, a ton of wallets being compromised. And I love seeing the character behind these scams, and the character meaning the character of the person who got scammed. You know, instead of complaining, instead of, throwing a fit, they acknowledge it, they own it, they accept it. And in most cases, they'll share how they got scammed to help prevent it from happening in the communities. One sure way to reduce the odds significantly: do not open a DM from someone you don't know, period. Don't click any random links, even if you know them. We recently had somebody in our Discord who has been in here since the beginning of the Moral Monkey Mob contest. I just so happened to be online and I was able to delete all of the links, but guess what? His Discord got compromised. So he came in BitMonkey Studio, spammed every available channel with what looked like a free Discord Nitro subscription, when really the domain spelled Discord incorrectly. It was Discord, but with a CROD.gift. And I saw that. I went to one of my dummy phones. I had to try it to see if my protection would protect it, right? Full transparency. I use Malwarebytes paired with a number of different tools. I'd be happy to spotlight what those tools are if anybody's interested in future episodes. But I highly recommend, if you're in this space, if you're trading any NFTs, even if it's a 0.1, make sure your system's secure. Make sure you're not in a public network on public Wi-Fi. That's huge, right? Because you never know who's in that network watching and collecting data, collecting all those packets that are being sent and received back and forth, things that you don't see happening on the back end. Yeah, Malwarebytes, not a paid advertisement. So that's why I said full transparency. I use Malwarebytes. I'm not getting paid for dropping their name. And I have no intention on reaching out to them to get paid to drop their name. So yeah, Discord is under attack big time in the NFT space. So if you're a newcomer and you're joining Discords left and right, here's another tip. Don't go follow some links to another project when you don't know the person who posted that link and think that it's a legit project. I'm not saying don't go follow the rabbit and explore and do your own research. Do that. But don't go take some random person in some trusted Discord as fact or as, wow, this person's on point, right? Do your own research. I got suckered into some projects like that, I will admit. And I also almost jumped into some projects like that. And then I had to backtrack and ask myself, how did I get to this point? Wait, I found it through this Discord. Yeah, I trust the owners of that Discord. But who posted it? Oh, some random person that I did not trust, that had no mutual friends, right? And sometimes those will hit, sometimes they won't. But I've developed a process where I just don't follow those. Just don't follow them. I'd rather not succumb to the fear of missing out, plain and simple. So I hope everybody takes kind of the moral of the story, or the moral of the episode on this episode is understand that if you practice an abundant mindset in this space, there will always be more projects. Don't worry about missing out on that hyped up project or that big project that you think is one of a kind. Just practice abundance, peace of mind. That's all I want to get across the table here. I've squirreled quite a bit. So without squirrel ado, this has been another episode of BitmonkeyTV. This is Non-Fungible Token Thursdays. We did spotlight a few projects: CozyReef.io, SirKill.game, and OnChainMonkey.com. Shout out to those projects innovating, those projects putting the community first. I tip my hat off to you. And all those other projects I didn't name, right? Just because I didn't name them doesn't mean I don't like them. But I really wanted to be focused on this episode. And even as much as I try to focus, I still squirrel. So I hope you guys enjoyed, guys and girls. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching this from. We'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of BitmonkeyTV. Until then, much love. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.